nutrition. So sometimes in life you have to rely on other people for advice and tips because they're in a better position, they've got more experience. And when it comes to food and healthy eating, the person I always refer to is Scott Hill. He's a professional sports nutritionist, and he's worked with a lot of professional teams, rugby league and football teams, and has dealt with a lot of individual athletes, CrossFit and judo athletes. But particularly now, there's a lot of work within this area of health and well-being and keeping people in consistent eating patterns to maintain their health and maintain their regime, basically. And a big thing that he talks about is energy balance. Now that's the difference in the amount of calories that you take in through the food that you eat and the amount of calories you burn through your bodily functions, just staying alive, the exercise that you do, and other kind of general work and how manually active you are during the day. And it's the difference between these, the two, is the difference between whether you'll put on weight or lose weight. Therefore, you eat less calories than you burn off, you're going to lose weight. You consume more calories than you burn off, then you're going to put weight on. And it's as simple as that, really. Now, the key he talks about, that Scott talks about, is consistency. Because the shifts in your weight are not something that happen necessarily day to day. They're something that happened over a prolonged period of time. So therefore, if you're for a prolonged period of time eating too few calories, you will lose weight. If you're eating far too many calories over a matter of weeks and months, then you're going to see those scales slowly starting to creep up and up and up. Why is it important we talk about this? Now, it's important because people instantly think, oh, well, I'll eat healthy for 2 days. And then after that 2 days, well, I've done well, I deserve a little bit of a treat and I'll reward myself. And for the rest of the week, that eating doesn't look too good. They get to the end of the week, stand on the scales and think, why is there no change? And it's because the majority of the time, the majority of that last week, they actually haven't been eating that well. They've just tricked themselves because for 2 days they did. And this has got to be a consistent thing over the whole week in order to lose weight. Secondly is weight gain. Some people have this misconception of, oh, I've had a day where I've eaten a load of rubbish. I'm going to put on a ton of weight. 1 day out of a week, when the rest of the week is you've stuck to your portions, you've stuck to your meals and you've eaten really well, will not tip those scales in a major way at all. Okay, so it's important that we remember that for all we're talking about healthy eating and keeping things consistent, that's also keeping things in moderation as well. So the odd chocolate bar here and there in the week, if that's your guilty pleasure, that's the thing that you enjoy, that's fine. That can be built in to a regime as long as it's done in moderation and under control. It's about allowing yourself sometimes to eat some good things or the things that you enjoy, whilst because you know the rest of the week you're following a good healthy pattern. Now, good healthy pattern, and how does that look and how can we manage that day to day? Well, portion control is a big one, and just using our hands are a big way of making sure that our plate is made up of the right sorts of foods. So for women, you'll follow the guidelines that I'm about to give. For men, you'll double these guidelines. So we know that meals should be made up of protein, and we measure how much protein we should have on our plate by the palm of our hand. Okay, filling the palm of your hand is a portion of protein. For carbohydrates, we cup our hand and it's the portion in there for some carbohydrates. For fats, it's the size of a thumb. And for fruit and veg, it's our fist. Now, all of these measurements and things are provided in pictures that are kind of in the notes to this video as well, so don't worry too much. Now, when it comes to meals and things, we don't have to be too strict. We can be a bit creative in the kitchen as long as we stick into the portion size. It's the portion size that makes the biggest difference. And what we're going to say for starters is that if we can stick to 3 square meals a day, we're not going too far wrong. Some of us might find that 3 meals just isn't enough, particularly if we're on our feet a lot during the day, if we are training alongside our work. 3 meals may not be enough and you may be hungry, in which case we'll up that to 4 meals. But notice we're saying up the meals to 4 rather than include too many snacks, which is where I'm going to come on to now, snacking. Now, tips for snacking, or kind of minimising snacking, is keep your snacks high in protein, okay? They give that body that sense of being full for a longer period of time, first thing. But secondly, they also are the food group that help with our repair process within the body. And during these times of high stress, particularly if we are on our feet a lot, it's protein that we need to regenerate our body and get ourselves feeling great. Another good one for snacking is fruit and veg. Now, these still need to stay within the portion sizes. So a snack of fruit would still be a fist for women or 2 fists for men. And the reason we suggest those is because they contain a lot of vitamins and minerals, obviously good for our immune systems during this period, and fibre to keep our metabolic system running well and make sure that we keep regular. Okay, so good snack ideas, fruit and veg wise, are calorie sticks, carrots, apples, melons. In terms of the protein side, Greek yogurts, cottage cheese, even like smaller portions of meat are great. When it comes to snacking, avoid that vending machine. If you have that set rule to yourself that I don't take anything from the vending machine, we won't go far wrong. Keep your hydration high, keep drinking plenty of water. Now, good tip with the water is if you are feeling that moment when you feel a little bit hungry, go and have a glass of water first. Wait 10 minutes, and if you're still hungry, great, go for that snack. You might find though that the hunger has then subsided and that snack isn't all that important. And that now then leads me on to the next one, which is the workplace, the office. Sometimes it can be very easy, and particularly when times are a little bit stressful like they are at the minute, people will be bringing in sweet snacks and treats and things into the office. If they are not on your regime, if they are not what you are about, we need to learn to say no. So straight away, and a good tip for this is letting as many people know for the next month, I'm just looking after what I'm eating. What that will do is people, and it sounds bad, but people will tend to watch to see if you'll fail. And so whenever you then go to have that sweet treat, I will guarantee someone in that office will say to you, "Oh, I thought you were eating well." It'll be that question that'll be the trigger in your mind that says, "No, do you know what? You're right. I am eating well, so I don't need that cake or whatever in the office." Just something to think about, because I will assure you, the second you say you're looking after what you're eating, people will be watching you all the time. We're then going to come on to alcohol now. Obviously, the simple answer to alcohol is avoid it. And it's a bit of a double-edged sword, really, because drinking responsibly can be a good form of relaxation, a good social within the house at the minute as it is, over FaceTime, having a glass with friends. However, alcohol is a depressant, is a natural depressant. So at times when you are feeling particularly stressed, at times when you're feeling particularly vulnerable, when you're feeling particularly alone, having drink and a lot of it will make those feelings worse. So a general rule of thumb to stick to over the alcohol is, if you're having it as a social to be happy, great, have a few glasses or a few drinks and curb it there. Don't drink into excess, obviously. But if you're drinking it because you're getting into the house and you're feeling really low and really sad, try and avoid it. Try and go for another option to minimise, because we don't want to be making these feelings of mental anxiety and stress even worse by booze. Which finally leads me on to relationships with food. And often when people think of a Saturday night, they think Ant and Dec on the telly or X Factor on the telly, whatever it is, sit down, glass of wine, chocolate, that's our night. Doesn't really matter what choices you made in the week. When it comes to Saturday night, as soon as Ant and Dec comes on the telly, your head's saying, where's my wine and where's my chocolate? Okay, so what we're going to try and do in terms of if we are looking at how we're snacking and moderating our sweets and treats, is keep yourself busy. And during this lockdown, me and my wife have started doing a lot of Lego and a lot of jigsaws. And it's amazing when you're not sat down, bored, watching mind-numbing telly, the difference it makes on your eating habits. So again, just something for you to think about, maybe introducing into your eating plans. So just to recap, consistency is key. Energy balance, only eating what you need, not eating too much or too little, and keeping it consistent over your week. Maintaining your portion sizes of your protein, your carbs, your fats, and your fruits and veg. Making sure that your snacking options, if you do choose to snack, are the right ones, and learning ways to avoid them. And then finally, alcohol, and using it in the right way. Hopefully this has given you some ideas, and I just want to thank Scott for all the help that he's given me in putting this together.